In the top stories, 4,100 pounds of plastic waste removed in beach cleanup. Anguilla's leaders address recent violent crimes. And Ohio judge blocks law requiring cremation or burial of fetal remains. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, February 20th, 2025. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey. Nationally, the Man and the Biosphere, or MAB Committee, the authority responsible for managing the St. Mary's Biosphere Reserve, or SMBR, collaborated with the Ministry of Environment, the Turtle Monitoring Network, and Ross University in a beach cleanup activity covering the Keys to Keon Beach area last weekend. This cleanup removed 4,113.94 pounds of plastic waste, especially plastic bottles, from the beaches ahead of the sea turtle nesting period. Other hazards, such as fishing nets and tires, were also removed. This exercise aims to change attitudes and behaviors towards the use of single-use plastics by using the real-world example of the hazard it poses to the endangered leatherback, hawksbill, and green sea turtles and other wildlife in the SMBR. The beach cleanup formed part of the UNESCO-funded participation project for sensitization on the elimination of single-use plastics in face of the plastic ban legislation. The Nevis Island Administration, or NIA, has launched a public sensitization campaign to inform residents and businesses about the phased ban on single-use plastics. The campaign, led by Director of Physical Planning and Environment, Mr. Diora Pemberton, aims to educate the public on the environmental impacts of plastic pollution. The ban will be implemented in 3 phases. Phase 1, March 31st, 2025, ban on single-use plastic bags. Phase 2, July 31st, 2025, ban on styrofoam food containers, plastic straws, and related packaging. Phase 3, November 30th, 2025, ban on additional plastic food utensils, including plates and cups. Pemberton emphasized the environmental urgency of the ban, citing the threat of plastic pollution to marine life and ecosystems. The government is promoting eco-friendly alternatives such as paper and reusable products and will enforce the ban through regulatory agencies. Residents and businesses are urged to familiarize themselves with the new regulations and adopt sustainable practices to protect the environment. Mrs. Leisha Phipps, Third Secretary and First Committee expert at the Permanent Mission of St. Kitts and Nevis to the UN, has successfully completed the University of Reading's executive course in international law applicable in cyberspace. The course provided insights into international law principles such as jurisdiction, sovereignty, human rights, and key treaties on cybercrime security and data protection. Mrs. Phipps stated the training will enhance her role as a First Committee expert addressing disarmament and international security challenges at the UN. She intends to apply her knowledge for the benefit of St. Kitts and Nevis. She expressed gratitude to the Permanent Mission of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis, and the Government of Canada for the scholarship. Mrs. Phipps also thanked Her Excellency Dr. Mutrice Williams, Permanent Representative of St. Kitts and Nevis to the UN, for her support in promoting professional development. This training aligns with Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew's vision for a stronger, safer, and more resilient society, as well as the Cybersecurity Training Initiative Cyber Nations Program 2025. We move now to news on the regional scene. Anguilla's governor and premier have strongly condemned a recent series of violent events, including 2 murders and a shooting that have shaken the normally peaceful island. The incidents include the February 7th murder of an elderly man in Farrington, a shooting in Island Harbor on February 8th, and the murder of a British Virgin Islands visitor on February 17th. The Royal Anguilla Police Force, or RAPF, is investigating and following several leads. Officials cautioned against speculation on potential connections between the events and urged public cooperation. A mass departure of experienced educators from Caribbean schools is jeopardizing teaching standards across the region, according to Professor S. Joel Warrican, director of the Caribbean Educational Research Center. The professor highlighted the issue during a recent virtual conference hosted by the World Bank. Professor Warrican explained that the exodus of seasoned teachers, driven by economic factors, is forcing education ministries to hire untrained staff, which is compromising the quality of education. He warned that relying on unqualified teachers is diminishing the profession's status and the overall caliber of teaching. To address the issue, Professor Warrican urged CARICOM governments to reassess teacher recruitment and retention strategies. He emphasized the need for better incentives, competitive salaries, and rigorous entry qualifications to attract and retain skilled educators. The expert also called for a regional approach to invest in teacher training and enhance career pathways to elevate the teaching profession. Internationally, a Hamilton County judge has permanently blocked an Ohio law requiring the cremation or burial of fetal remains from surgical abortions, ruling it violates the state's 2023 Reproductive Rights Amendment. The law, passed in 2020, was challenged by clinics and ACLU of Ohio, who argued it imposed unnecessary burdens on abortion providers and patients. Judge Allison Hathaway's decision prevents the law from taking effect, allowing remains to continue being disposed of as infectious waste under existing rules. She stated that the law would severely impede abortion access and create unnecessary delays. This ruling is part of a broader trend of legal challenges to Ohio's abortion laws following the 2022 overturning of Roe v. Wade. The ACLU and pro-abortion rights groups have praised the decision, calling it a win for reproductive freedom. Hamas released the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages on Thursday, including a mother and her 2 children, who had been feared dead since the October 7, 2023 attack. The hostages were reportedly killed in Israeli airstrikes along with their guards. The militants displayed 4 black coffins on a stage in the Gaza Strip, surrounded by banners, including one depicting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Thousands, including masked and armed militants, watched as the coffins were transferred to Red Cross vehicles for delivery to Israeli forces. A small funeral ceremony was held before the bodies were sent to a laboratory in Israel for DNA identification, a process that could take up to 2 days. This handover, following the recent return of 24 living hostages under a temporary ceasefire, serves as a grim reminder of the lives lost during the prolonged conflict. It may also influence ongoing negotiations for the second phase of the ceasefire, which is set to end in early March. And now for the weather. Present weather is fair skies. Winds are a moderate breeze of 15 miles per hour from a northeasterly direction. The temperature for today is 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are 1.8 to 2.1 meters or 6 to 7 feet. Small craft operators should exercise caution against choppy seas. A moderate to sometimes fresh breeze will continue to transport shallow low-level clouds over the Leeward and British Virgin Islands. These will maintain a moderate chance of passing showers over the islands today and tonight. The weather forecast for today predicts partly cloudy skies, becoming locally cloudy at times, with a 60% or moderate chance of brief afternoon showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy, with a 40% or moderate chance of brief evening showers. Sunset for today will be at 6:15 p.m. and sunrise for tomorrow will be at 6:34 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey.